It is Wednesday night, August 9th, 2017. I'm your host, Guy Searle. This is the Mac to the Future livecast. And if I sound a little bit funny, you may notice that I've got some swelling over here. Monday, I had 2 teeth extracted, and it's the 2 back molars. The reason why I had to have those 2 teeth extracted was that I ate a bagel. No, that's not a joke. I ate a bagel, and the crown on the rear molar lower side came off. And when that came off, that set off a chain reaction that caused the next molar to break into pieces. And when I went to go see the dentist, he basically told me that not only had that one molar kind of broken into pieces, but the crown that I'd had that came off, that also broke. So I had to have both of those teeth extracted, and that was Monday. Let me move this up just a little bit. There we go. Oh, sorry. I'm a little fuzzy. I'm on some fun meds right now, which means that almost anything might happen in this particular show. So, no, I didn't mean to hit that. So, I went in to see the dentist on Monday morning, and he took out the 2 back molars, and he did a bone graft to build up some of the bone there. It was, I guess, a big gap was left when he extracted the 2 teeth. And in about 3 weeks, when everything is kind of calmed down and settles, and he'll go in and he'll do some implants, which basically means he takes a drills into my jaw, does something, puts some posts or something in there, and then puts 2 artificial teeth. So that's what I have to look forward to. Now, part of the consequence of all this is my beard is growing out. I don't necessarily want it to grow out, but it is, because I'm kind of afraid to take my razor and trim it down, which it's silly, and I'll probably do it later, but I will get to it. We have 5 people. We have 5 people in here. Everyone, please sign in. Gary Apter, hey, what's going on? Actually, you say that. He says, been there, done that, Calbone. Something that this dentist is going to do is he's getting a grinder. And part of the problem when you do bone grafts is there's always the possibility that the body will reject whatever the material is that they use for the graft. So, and this is completely off topic, but I'm on pain meds, so you'll just have to put up with it. So what he's going to do is when these teeth are extracted, he'll use the grinder to actually grind up the teeth that are extracted and use that for the bone graft. And what this will do is, it's your own genetic material. So, there's almost a 0 chance of the body rejecting it. But that's what his next step is going to, not for me personally, but that's what's going to happen, I guess, in the future once he gets this grinder. Who else do we got here? You can't tell that I'm on meds. Seems the usual, Guy B. Searle. Thanks. Ed Eisen is here. Hey, Ed. I don't see nobody else is talking. Come on, people, speak up. Speak up. We got a couple things to talk about tonight, other than my swelling and that I'm on pain medication and that I've had 2 teeth extracted. A couple things that are coming up real soon for me. My son Guy Jr. is coming back down. He's been living in Boston for the last year, and I've just made arrangements to go up, and he's going to come home, which is good because I don't think he's particularly liked Boston. What else? I'm trying to arrange for my wife and I to go to, I think it's Greenville. It's someplace in North Carolina. It's not far from the epicenter of the eclipse that's coming up on August 21st. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get time off for it for work because it's kind of that whole week is from the 21st to the 25th is a no leave week because we're doing this thing called Shark Week where we're setting up our budgets. Hey Frank, yep, pain meds. I love these pain meds. Trying to get through it. So, but part of the reason why I wanted to do this is because this is my wife and myself. It's our 25th wedding anniversary on August 29th. She just had her birthday, and no, I'm not going to say how old she is because it's not important. And I figured that this would be a nice kind of anniversary trip. And I'm really hoping that we can go, even if we can't go. I do have some glasses that don't look directly up in the sun. I talked about some of this last week. Don't look directly up into the sun. Don't use your camera to look directly up into the sun. It's not a good idea. Okay, we're gonna get off all of that. This is the 21st episode for the Mac to the Future Go podcast. Actually, it's really the 22nd, but it's officially episode 21, which means it can now legally drink. And after Monday's procedure of removing 2 molars, I'm so in favor of drinking. One of the other things that's going on right now. Oh crap! What does this say? It says live video interrupted. Oh, I don't like it when it does that. Okay, it's back. It seems to be back. We're right around that time of year when you start hearing all of the rumors for the next iPhone, and it gets a little crazy every single time. I don't know why these and I guess a lot of it is just because they have to have something to talk about, and because Apple is notoriously such a closed-mouthed company as far as releasing product news and all the rest of that until it's actually ready to be released, that they just feel an obligation to say or do something. So, but some of these iPhone rumors, let's go over a few of them that I've listed here. There's supposed to be 3 models: the iPhone SE, the iPhone 7S, and the iPhone 8. The iPhone 8 is supposed to have an all-glass front with no bezel. For iOS 11, at least as far as the iPhone 8 is concerned, it's supposed to be able to do facial recognition for logins, so you won't have to just use your fingers all the time. Now, there are 2 guys, Evan Blass and Benjamin Geskin, because there were some images released of what the next iPhone is supposed to look like. And these 2 guys are fighting over who released it first because reasons. But the funny thing is they're going at it like they were the ones that designed the iPhone 8. So I don't know. I don't get why people are so concerned about that. These are all rumors. Apple hasn't said anything. You have no clue, Mr. Blass and Mr. Gaskin, over what the phone is going to look like. It could look completely different, and you wouldn't know it because you're fixated on, being the first to have something out. Just get over yourselves. Now, it's also supposed to have a new OLED screen. And one of the other rumors is that Apple will have a tough time supplying enough iPhones to meet the demand. when has Apple ever had enough iPhones to meet the demands of a newly released product like that? There's always lines. If you don't get your pre-order in, then you got to wait like the other mere mortals to get your next phone. I'm I'm still rocking a 6 plus, so I'm 2 gens back right now. And I'm still, unless there is something with the iPhone 8 or even iPhone 7s. I've seen the 7. It was, it's a good phone. uh does it convince me to go out and spend a lot of money to replace a phone that I have that's working? No. So unless the 8 like really really rocks my world, I'll wait. I'll wait another year. I don't care. I may have to replace my wife's phone. She's on my, I think it was mine. It's an old 5S, and it's starting to act a little flaky. Okay, well, this is now a phone that's 3 years old, 4 years old. So certainly there's no reason why it shouldn't be replaced. Now, one of the other interesting things that I saw was that the next gen, and these are all rumors, the next gen Apple Watch to maybe get cellular capabilities. Now, the most amazing part of that is that I was actually able to say cellular capabilities and not stumble over the words, because my mouth feels like that my tongue is swelling in my mouth. Now, of course, this would mean that you wouldn't need to have your phone paired with your watch all the time to get some of the advanced functionality that the cellular connection requires. Some of the things against it would be it would really, or could, because we don't know, really suck down on battery life. And Apple is nothing if not concerned about battery life for their devices. So unless they could still guarantee that the watch would last at least a typical 8 to 12 hour day, I don't think they would do it. Now, what I would find interesting would be if your watch and your phone had the same number. So you're getting ready to go for a jog. Not me personally, but somebody out there getting ready to go for a jog, or you're walking on the beach or something along those lines. You don't necessarily want to have a big phone in your pocket or on you or any rest of that, but no problem with a watch. So, but if your phone and your watch both have the same cell number, then you could basically turn your phone off, put it in airplane mode, do something to let both the watch and the phone know, okay, well, the watch is now the active part of your cellular connection, and anything that you have that's coming in that's related to that should go to the watch instead of the phone. And I would find that to be much more of a better, it would be a better solution in my mind than just saying, okay, well, here's your phone that has a telephone number, here's your watch that has a separate telephone number, and trying to manage all that at the same time. I just don't think that would be that would be necessarily be a good idea. There's we're coming up on the time when there's a lot of products that are going to be released as 2017 comes to a close. I think we're looking at a lot of new stuff from Apple, and it's not just going to be related to phones and watches and pads. It's I'm pretty convinced that there's going to be some new hardware along the lines of MacBooks, MacBook Pros, and I really would like to see an update to the Mac Mini. The iMacs, of course, have already been announced, and we're just kind of waiting on those. So, yeah, let's, I'm looking forward to seeing all of that. Now, of course, we're also kind of waiting at this point for iOS 11. We're waiting on Mac OS 10.12, 13. Which one are we on here now? We are on we are on 10.12. So the next one's going to be High Sierra is going to be 10.13. So I'm really enjoying myself here tonight. The latest public beta was just released for 10.13. Now I did have that on my laptop, but when I was getting ready to go to the MacStock conference, one of the things I did was I took out the 256 SSD, the Blade SSD that was in there, and I put in a 1 terabyte Blade. And I had some problems getting 10.13, the beta, to work. And because I was going to be so reliant on my laptop for podcasting and all the rest of that, I decided to go ahead and take off the beta and put 10.12 back on, which I did. And I still haven't put the beta back on. I think at this point I'm just going to wait for the official release. Now there's a couple other things that are going on here in the Searle household. Last week I showed you some of the gear that I bought. I got off eBay. One of which was this PreSonus. Let me bring this up. PreSonus VSL 44. It's got 4 XLR inputs. But the really cool thing about it is, actually, you know what? I'm going to wait, and we are going to talk about that after I come back from this little break. So everyone hold on. I'll be right back. Are you a new Mac user or an old hand? Wish you could know the ins and outs, keyboard shortcuts, or hidden tips and tricks to make you more efficient using your favorite computer? Hey, it's your lucky day, because Edward Eisen has written a great guide to knowing more about the Mac and the OS that it runs on. It's called This is the Light Side, and it's available through Apple's iBookstore or with Amazon. Better yet, it's not a stuffy old book that gathers dust on the shelf once the next operating system is released, because it's an ebook that you can look at any time you want. It won't get outdated because it's continuously being updated. Information on setting up your new Mac, installing and getting rid of applications, security settings and what to look out for, keyboard shortcuts, some basic app recommendations, how to use Windows on your Mac, if you really want to, that is, advanced topics, searching, using iCloud, and much more. All this for a mere 99 cents. Go to the iBookstore or Amazon and check out Edward Eisen's This is the Light Side. It's the book you want on your virtual shelf. Okay, for better or for worse, we are back. Oh, my jaw hurts. I was talking about the PreSonus VSL 44, maybe it's the 44 VSL. One of the things that I really, really like about this device, now, when I do the My Mac podcast, one of the things that I kind of struggle with is having multiple sources of audio coming into GarageBand. And there's a couple ways that I deal with that. For the last, I guess, month or so, I've been using Rogue Amoeba's Loopback software to get all of those various sources and put them onto different tracks in GarageBand, and it works great. However, I would also like to have a device that would allow me to have multiple outputs from it, from different microphones and all the rest of that. And the mixer that I use, which is a Behringer Xenix 1204 USB, something along those lines, it only has a single track or a single pair of outputs, left and right channel. Whereas the PreSonus unit gives me, now I've got the 4 XLR. They're combo ports. You can use XLR cables, and you can also connect up 1/4 inch instrument cables from guitar or what have you right into them as well. But each one of the outputs from that are separate. So over USB 2, going directly into a DAW, and it doesn't have to be GarageBand. PreSonus makes a program called Studio One, and they have a free version that's kind of crappy. They have the artist version, and they have a professional version. And I've bought the artist version, but I'm not really comfortable enough to use it as compared to using GarageBand. And GarageBand, for all the crap that people give GarageBand, it's actually a very, very capable audio editor. I've used it for years. Doesn't mean I wouldn't like to try something else. Let's see. Did somebody ask what equipment Guy is using? Where are my earplugs? Well, Marcus, I talk about these things because I want to. All of these inputs going into a DAW means that you have complete control over what the final output is going to sound like. You can add all kinds of filters and effects, manipulate it in such a way that it can sound pretty good. But that's, I love experimenting with this stuff, and audio has been my outlet for many years, and I would love to get into video as well, but I can barely afford to do this stuff with audio, and video can be a money suck in so many ways, because there's so many different things that come out all the time for as far as cameras and all the rest of that go. Whereas with audio, I've got my portable setup, so I've got the 2 Audio-Technica ATR 2100 microphones. I've got the Knox microphone, which is basically a knockoff of the ATR 2005, which very similar to the 2100. And I've also got a Electro Voice, and I have no idea where I got this thing. Electro Voice ND767A, which is another great microphone. These are all dynamic microphones, and I really, really prefer dynamic microphones over condenser microphones. Condenser microphones typically require phantom power and can get great sound. The problem is they usually also pull in, if unless you're in a studio or a really, really quiet environment, condenser microphones are going to pick up all kinds of trash, whereas dynamic microphones have much better side and rear rejection depending on, their polar pattern. And most of the ones that I have are either cardioid or supercardioid microphones, and you can look those up if you really care. But they're microphones that are pretty much set for one purpose, and that's for recording the voice. And those are the kinds of microphones that I like. So, I love these meds. That's really about all I got tonight. I know it's kind of a shorter show than it usually was. It's actually kind of quiet right now. There's not a whole lot going on, and hopefully next week when I'm doing the show, I won't have I won't have pain medications in. Oh, we got some comments here. Jeff Zedrenton says Studio One is a very good program for recording and mixing, mastering. I use it often for mixing, mastering client work. If you want a good grasp on Studio One, YouTube Joe Glider's Studio One tutorial series. He has some really good beginning advanced tutorials. They're really great. Oh, thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that. I've actually looked on YouTube for tutorials on not just dye your beard and hair until you can trim it. Thanks, Frank. On things not just Studio One, but also other programs or if I'm trying to improve a technique of some program that I'm using. I actually have a couple of videos up on using loopback and audio hijack from Rogue Amoeba. And if you look those up, it'll basically take you through all the steps that I use to bring in multiple sources of audio into GarageBand using loopback, the way I'm kind of doing it now. And there are ways, if you don't have a mixer, there are ways to use audio hijack as a virtual mixer. And I have another video that kind of goes into that. But these are, I love doing these things. I think it's Camtasia 3 is what I use to make some of these videos. Oh God, I'm really rambling tonight. Anyway, if you would like to get a hold of me, you can reach me, Guy at mttfgo.com. Also, probably the easier way would be Mac Parrot on the Twitters. The telephone number that you can use to contact me and leave a message, area code 703-436-9501. And yeah, give me stuff to talk about, and hopefully I won't be a drug-induced madman in weeks to come. Some of the other events, I talked about some of those. Hopefully none of them will interfere with doing the live cast, and I kind of do it on Wednesdays on purpose. I know that the MyMac podcast suffers sometimes, especially this summer with all the traveling that I've been doing, and Gaz moving into a new house and all the rest of that. But we do the best we can. You have to remember that we don't get paid for doing this. We do it just because we want to, and we enjoy doing it. And we hope that people that watch or listen get more out of it than than what we think we're putting into it. But we always have a good time with it, and that's really the whole point. You have to, if you're not getting paid for doing something, you damn well better enjoy it. So anyway, I think that is going to do it for this evening. Thank you all for joining me, and I can't guarantee that next week I won't ramble like I did tonight, because that's what I do. Yeah. See, I got these teeth got knocked out right there. They got knocked out. So the teeth knocked out on pain meds and antibiotics. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Good night.